Welcome to Texas Rye Whiskey Studies by Stab the Dragon Productions for our National Rye Whiskey Tournament. Coming to you from Fort Worth, Texas on 21 July 2025. It is 95 degrees out. Now this is our first matchup between the ryes in this tournament. And we're in the lower proof division, so we've got two 80 proof ryes tonight. I've previously reviewed each of these two whiskeys on this channel, so tonight I'll determine which one I like the best. What are the rules? In glass number one, we have Alberta Premium, 100% blended Canadian rye. And in glass number two, we've got Basil Hayden Dark Rye. The glasses are blacked out so that I can't use the visual observance to cheat and figure out which is which. Though I'll look at the whiskey in the bottle, but not in the glass. And though I review their history, the bottles and labels, composition, appearance, the winner is going to be based on nose, taste, mouthfeel, burn, and finish. And the question I'm seeking an answer to is, if I was offered both of these whiskeys 5 nights in a row, I could have only one, which would I choose 3 out of the 5 nights at least? Which one would I prefer to drink? And then after this contest, just for fun, I try to figure out which whiskey's in which glass. So first, let's look at the history. Basil Hayden Rye. This is named for Meredith Basil Hayden Sr., who was a rye farmer, credited with introducing a high rye mash bill into his bourbon in the late 1700s in Kentucky. He founded the town of Bardstown, Kentucky in 1785. This brand is owned by the James B. Beam Distilling Company, and they trace their roots back to Jacob Beam, who began selling his bourbon, Jake Beam Sour Mash, in Kentucky in 1795. Jim Beam introduced this whiskey lineup of bourbons in 1992, and then this rye came out in 2017. When I reviewed this whiskey, it got a score of 93 and a letter grade of A+. And in this corner, for history, we've got Alberta Premium from Alberta Distillers in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, which was founded, the distillers were founded in 1946, and this distillery is the #1 maker seller of rye whiskey in the world, even more so than MGP in Indiana. But this bottle only started being marketed in the USA in 2021. So for history, I give the winner to Basil Hayden. Bottle, label, and marketing. The Alberta Premium has a nice decanter style chiseled glass look with a striking but simple label. Basil Hayden has a much more traditional bottle, but the label I think is awesome. And you got the belt buckle and belt going around the bottle, and that's actually metal. So I would give the appearance of the bottle label to Basil Hayden, and clearly the marketing in America is going to go to Basil Hayden as well. Appearance in the bottle, if we look at these side by side, you will see that the Basil Hayden is considerably darker. And just as a personal aesthetic, I tend to prefer darker whiskeys. So again, appearance is going to go to Basil Hayden. Composition. On the Alberta Premium bottle, it does say 100% rye, And it says Canadian blended rye whiskey and 40 ABV, ABC, alcohol. What does it say? Alcohol by volume. Okay. And 80 proof. The Basil Hayden is also 80 proof, but the composition is a little bit more complex with the Basil Hayden. It's got Kentucky straight rye in it, and straight rye's got to be 2 years old or older, whereas Canadian whiskeys all have to be 3 years old or older. And then it's mixed with, the Basil Hayden is mixed with Alberta Premium. So there you go. And the Alberta Premium is mixed with California port wine. So all in all, the Basil Hayden's got a very complex recipe composition going on there. So it wins the composition as well. Now, on to the nosing and tasting of these whiskeys. I don't know which is in which glass, but number 1 is going to be Alberta Premium, number 2 is Basil Hayden. You'll be able to see the number marked on the bottom of the glass when I raise the glass. I'll start with sniffing the one on the left. And my nose is terrible for this. Sometimes I can't even smell a whiskey. I smell something there. Doesn't smell too bad. I'm going to say the one on the left has got more going on the nose. Smells a little bit more appealing than the one on the right. So we'll say who's ever on the left wins the nose. Now let's go for the taste. And since the one on the left, I think, might have had the stronger nose, we'll start drinking the one on the right. That was a pleasant sip. I'm not going to hazard a guess yet. This contest thing, throughout the 1.5 to 2 years I've been doing this, is a constant source of embarrassment because I always get the whiskeys wrong. Oh wow. One on the left definitely has got way more flavor. Yeah, it's sweet, it's rich. Doesn't actually have much rye flavor. There's a lot of fruit coming in there. Dark fruits like plums, blueberries, raspberries maybe. Stuff like that. So I'm saying that's probably the Basil Hayden going on there. This one on the right has got some mild rye flavors. Just not a whole lot going on there. Maybe a little bit of grassy hints of rye spice, but just not a whole lot. So this is, I'm pretty sure, the Alberta Premium. Mouthfeel, burn, and finish. The one on the left not only has the better taste, but stronger mouthfeel. Neither of these has much of a burn. These are both very gentle. I mean, there's just a little bit of mouth tingle going on there. The finish, the flavors linger. Definitely the flavors are lingering on that. I mean, it kind of coats the tongue. So that one on the left wins the taste and the mouthfeel, burn, and finish. Although neither of them had any kind of a burn, really. This one just didn't have much of a mouthfeel, didn't have much of a finish. No burn. I mean, both of these are so gentle and smooth. They're pretty inoffensive. But the one on the left has got a whole lot more flavor, a lot better mouthfeel and finish. So I'm going to say the one on the left is the winner. And I think the left one is the Basil Hayden, or glass number 2. So let's pick this up and look. That is in fact glass number 2. And this is glass number 1. So we have a winner. Basil Hayden Dark Rye wins the first match of the tournament. This is a dessert whiskey for sure. Now, I've looked at some other reviews. This is a divisive whiskey. There are people who don't like this at all. And for the purist, I mean, it's not a pure rye, right? As soon as you blend an American straight rye with something else, it's no longer a real rye. And so dark rye is a moniker that Jim Beam Company came up with. It is a rye, okay, but it's just not a legal straight rye. But this is a blend. And that port wine, who knows how much is in there by the flavor. I mean, this is way more flavor than a finished rye. You can have a straight rye that's finished in another barrel like port, and that's fine. It's still a straight rye, but it's finished. This is not that. This has actual wine in there. And California port wine can go into the Alberta premium, and then because it's got California rye or California wine, port wine in there, they can ship it to America and I think elude the tariffs or whatever. I think there's, a legal technicality there because, they've got part of American stuff in there. They can ship it here. So that kind of helps the whole process. But we have a winner for sure. Basil Hayden wins the first contest. And it was, actually, this is why you should do blind tastings right here. When I evaluated and did a review of the Alberta Premium, it scored a 69. And the letter grade for drinkability on this thing was a C+. So that's, one of the lowest scores I've given a whiskey. And there was nothing bad here. Well, the nose. I didn't like the nose when I did this by itself. Tonight, the nose was better. Go figure. I don't know. Tonight, the flavor was better. Everything about tonight was better than when I actually reviewed this. So I don't know why that is, but you can review whiskeys on different nights and come up with different stuff. So I would say the Alberta Premium performed well tonight, but it was going against, okay, if you want to do it like a basketball tournament, this is the number 1 seed in the low proof division right here. Number 1 seed. And if you want to know what the weakest, the lowest ranked team was, it was this one. Okay, so you put the number one guy against the bottom rung guy. That's what I did, and that was almost accidental, actually. I hadn't really planned on it that way, but that's how it turned out. All right, so what's coming up next? Well, this week is a whiskey holiday. I say whiskey. Thursday, the 24th, is National Tequila Day. And so I'm going to do my first ever tequila review. Jose Cuervo Tradicional Añejo. There you go. I'm going to review this on Thursday, and that will be on Stab the Dragon and American Catechism channels. But what's coming up next on the Texas Rye Whiskey channel? Next week, we're going to continue our tournament with Canadian Club 100% Rye. Right there. And we will do this, a single grain Canadian whiskey, smooth and rich. We'll do this next week. All right, for now, this is Texas Rye Whiskey Studies for Stab the Dragon Productions out here.